Why do I look like 100 years older than I did in my last video? And that was that a year ago? Hi everyone, I have returned from the dead because of quarantine. And you may think, you know, we're in quarantine, so surely you have plenty of time. And there, you know, like how people can post announcements on YouTube. I wanted to do that and be like, don't worry guys, I'm coming back during this quarantine. But I think you have to have a certain number of subscribers, so that did not happen. Subscribe so I can do that, please. But I am back. I'm gonna be back from now on. I might post every month or something like stupid like that. But the video that has been long awaited of me reacting to Riverdale's new musical Hedwig and the Angry Inch will be coming. I think that's what it's called. I've never actually seen that one or heard of it before Riverdale, which I know is pathetic, and considering I obviously knew Heathers and Carrie beforehand, it's gonna be different than before. But yeah, anyway, so this video is me going over the portfolio that I turned in for my AP art and design exam. What ended up happening, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for everyone, but it was because of quarantine, instead of having to turn in, was it 15 sustained investigation projects, you had to turn in 10, and instead of turning in 5 selected works, you had to turn in 3, which is very lucky because I spent a lot of time sketchbook journaling and not so much time getting all my projects done, which is very on brand for me. My sustained investigation question was, how can I use media, color, and technique to portray the personality of the person in the portrait? Because I can mainly draw people and I wanted to draw my friends. I'm trying to do them in the order I drew them. First one up is my friend Dannon. I don't have that many guy friends. He is like, I don't know, he's like a pretty random person, really passionate. For instance, he was passionately arguing that Belle should have ended up with Gaston instead of the Beast. So it's stuff like that. I think what I said for the process of this one was that I wanted to do like the Zentangling, and I don't know how much of the details you can see, but the Zentangling to show like that his randomness and his complexities are what make him like the most interesting to me. This one, I was trying to get the guys done first because I think there's only 3 and I just am not as good at drawing guys as I am at drawing girls. But this is my friend Nathan, and he's like, how do I say gamer without sounding lame? He's a gamer, so I wanted to do like the 3D glasses, and I also just wanted to do a heart monitor line that had absolutely no correlation. I didn't end up submitting this as part of my sustained investigation actually, just because it's not super, you know, great. I still like it. I think I then began straight into this one, which is my friend Elise. And for the process of this one, I said sometimes like the feeling of like outer calm, maybe like chaos, like deep down, can be best described in the natural world. And this one was like obviously the ocean, so I was like, okay, this is supposed to be like reminiscent of sea foam, and then the waves in the hair, which again, I don't know how well you can see anything in here. This is a piece that I'm very proud of. It's the first one in the order that I submitted it, because you're supposed to start with like a strong first and last. This is the first one I did. I actually don't know if that was the third one I did. It might have been this one, but this is either third or fourth, like in the making process. I actually used this for one of my selected works. It's matted differently than everything else because it was in an art show. I got an honorable mention. Yeah, this is my friend Abby. This is Abby, and I said that like the nostalgia and comfort and warmth that you like associate with like old books is like what I associate with her, because she's like one of my oldest friends. And she's also a reader and everything, and a writer, so I wanted to use that. So I made like a flower, another flower, I don't even know. Some of this is just 3D for no reason, like I don't know what that is. Little accordion things, another one down there. I don't usually incorporate like 3D into my drawings ever. It's my friend Desiree. And I didn't have like a groundbreaking idea for this one. It was one of the ones where I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I wanted one of them to have stitching in it, so I picked this one. I don't know how well you can see it again. I wanted it to have like this sunset-ish background because she's like, I mean, as you can tell by the pose that she's a very happy, fun, goofy person, and I wanted to be like, you know, the closest to her is the most light, and then in the corner where it's furthest away it gets darker. So my friend Cassidy, this one I hated so much. Like, I literally hated it. I wanted to use like bold colors because she's a super bold personality, and that was literally the only thing I came up with for hers, was just bold colors, yeah. And I wanted to look kind of pop arty, but then my art teacher ended up saying like, oh, this looks like German Expressionism. So then, like, when I journaled in my sketchbook, and I'll show you my sketchbook pages too because I did submit those, I talked about how I researched German Expressionism and pop art, which was really just, it wasn't research, I didn't research anything. But yeah, I hated this one, and now, like, I couldn't even look at it, like, just could not stand my failure. But I think it's okay now. I don't love it. I mean, I haven't worked with like just acrylic paint to facially shade something, if that makes sense, like in a while. Like, I'm really out of practice with like painting in general, because when I'm not in class, I pretty much just draw with pencils, and that's like my forte, and that ties in later. I think that was like all of my first semester, and then second semester I took a huge hiatus where I just did sketchbook stuff. But then when I got back into doing portraits, it was of my friend Olivia. This also did not make it into the final sustained investigation because I just didn't feel like it. I mean, it's like, I like it. It's a good painting. I just don't feel like it was like a super like wow, impactful, had a deep process, you know? Olivia paints a lot of watercolor, and she paints a lot of flowers, so I wanted to incorporate both of those things. I mean, it's pretty much just, it's surface level, like you can see it and understand what was happening. I mean, a lot of the other ones are like that too. This is the last one I finished before quarantine, and this is of my friend Kim. Out of like all my friends, she has like, I guess, no, I don't want to say like darkest aesthetic, but she's definitely like has, like, she wears a lot of black, she has black hair. I don't know, I just wanted to do something different. There was like a huge yellow-orange theme, and so her favorite color is like green, so I went with that, obviously. I like dropped ink on it, and then I used the places where it was exposed to like draw in the bone. And it really was just to look cool, but on the AP thing, I was like, this is a statement on vulnerability. Final sustained investigation piece that I did before the actual finale of it was of my friend Brandon. And this one I did completely out of school and at home. I know it looks like Cole Sprouse. It's been like this huge thing where people have been like, that looks like Cole Sprouse. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it does. Hi, Cole. I talked about how, like, you know, the monochrome with just the cracks of color is like representing, you know, like your outer facade. And then like when there's like the, ew, dude, I wish you'd see like the way my hand is moving right now in real time. It looks so gross and it feels gross. But like the cracks showing like, oh, when you break through that, this is honestly so cliche, I can't even like say it. When you break through the facade, then it makes everything more interesting. And then I don't know, I ruined our table by smacking color at it. I don't even know if you can tell. Yeah, you kind of can. I don't really know, I was bored. And then the finale of all the sustained investigation pieces, but I didn't use this for sustained investigation, I used it for my second selected works. So that was all the sustained investigations except for the two I said weren't in there, and then I had the sketchbook stuff go in there. It's like the summation of all the sustained investigation, and it's my self-portrait. I usually like sketch in pencil, and I feel like that's where I'm most comfortable and what I'm best at, like just pencil portraits. So that's how I did mine, but then I had like these separate panels represent all the other ones I did. This is Brandon's, and that's like Kim's with the ribs. This is Elise's with the hair, and like it doesn't look like the ocean here, but I tried. That's Nathan's with the 3D stuff. It looks bad. Dannon's down here with the purple and the Zentangling. This is Olivia's with the flowers. I like this way better than what I did with her actual piece, and I wish I could redo it. Like paint the flowers differently and paint the colors differently. This is Desiree's with the sunset and the stitching. It's absolutely the worst section. Okay, and this is Abby's with the I didn't have book pages because I'm not in the art room. This is also completely done at home, but with a newspaper, and then I painted it the way I did an actual thing, and then I made a little flower. I watched a little YouTube tutorial about how to make a flower out of paper, and I did that. And this is Cassidy's with the bold colors. I don't know. So that was my second selected work, and then because, like I said, I thought about adding in like Nathan's piece, because even though I didn't love it, I could have used it for Sustained Investigation and then moved one of the other ones and just selected works that I actually did like more. But then I ended up using this painting, which is honestly not great and probably didn't deserve selected works either. I did it last year, sophomore year, and I used the song Yellow Flicker Beat by Lord. I actually have another painting that's this. It was a recreation of a portrait I did maybe freshman year, maybe 8th grade, with the same theme, but I just did it again, where I took the lyrics to Yellow Flicker Beat and I, wrote them in the back, and then I had the main piece be a self-portrait. Obviously our skin tones are completely the same and perfect. The hair is supposed to look like fire. It looks way more like fire in the first one. I was trying to like tone it down a little bit. There's no layers or shading. It's honestly god-awful. We definitely don't look anything alike, but an attempt was made. It was sophomore year. We were just vibing. And then I also submitted this to the fair, and then I won $20. The first sketchbook page that I did was Elise's. So this is the one I made up for Elise's. Oh, cool. I'm glad you can see it. I don't know, it's not great. And then I had a little thing of water, which was literally the stupidest drawing I've ever made. Like, are you kidding me? For Elise's sketchbook page, I have a picture of the finished piece. I have pictures of her that I have. What a queen. And on the little thing I wrote,
Elise has been a close friend of mine since 5th grade, and I wanted to show that closeness with the composition of this piece. I wanted to show the inner conflict and the colors and the chaos in the background while keeping her face neutral.
I didn't even know I wrote that because, again, it was not that serious. I just made it up. So yeah, I guess that's what is happening here. I just used the same like acrylic and I just like stippled it on with the colors for the background. And then on this page I have the picture, the reference picture that I printed out with the, graph that I put on there in order to get it on the bigger one. And I wrote,
Finished December 6, 2019. With this project, one of the things I'm proudest of is the way I portrayed the water in her hair. When writing down ideas for this project based on Elise's personality, I knew I wanted to capture her aloofness with some representation of the ocean. Originally, the only thing I wrote down was sea foam, which I tried to use with the colors and texture of the background. If I could change anything about this project, I'd find a way to better portray the waves in her hair, which don't come across as clearly as I would like. Additionally, I would focus less on making the features feminine, and I feel like in forcing it, I made some of the features out of scale. I understand how me saying I'm proud of how I portrayed the waves in her hair, while also saying it's an area I need to improve, is contradictory. While to me the message of her aloofness and solitude to the waves is clear, I wanted to make sure it's clear for the viewer as well.
wow, amazing. I don't know if I showed you this page. I made a little nameplate too. I like wrote stuff on the back of the sketch too. Yeah, you probably don't care, but if you do, pause the video. This is Abby's first page. And I did the background with the same torn book pages and I painted them. And I said thought process and then I dated it.
This is probably my favorite piece so far. Abby may be my closest and longest friend, so I wanted to make her piece have a sense of warmth and familiarity. She's also a reader-writer, so book pages felt like the perfect way to achieve this. To further advance on this emotion, and to complement the cooler colors at the center of the piece, I used watercolor and warm colors on the background.
The second page is this. I really like the idea of having a picture of all of us and then like labeling who it is. I thought it was gonna be cute and like personalized. I said
likes. I love the way the cooler shade of the skin looks. The grayish bluish tones don't show through as well in the picture as in the piece, but against the warm background colors it really stands out. I also love the shading on her hat, which blended really well.
That is like the most irrelevant detail I could have mentioned of like, wow, look at that beanie bra. It looks amazing.
Dislikes. I don't really like the flannel. Yeah, obviously it looks god-awful, which I wasn't sure how to go about and chose to freestyle, which didn't turn out how I wanted it to. Weird if you freestyle a flannel, it's not going to look good. Additionally, I tried to show the creases and shadows. My approach to this was to use a dark brown, which just turned out awful. Yeah, I did. Luckily, the paper flowers and the person in the piece do a good job of distracting. And then analysis. The paper flowers and paper background are a staple of this piece. Originally, I loved the way I did the watercolor, but now after I painted the background of these pages, I think I could have done it better. Instead of only using one color piece per paper, I could do a gradient of all the colors, which is more dynamic.
And that's what I did in the sketchbook, was like a gradient. Oh yeah, the original sketch for that one was this. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying original sketch. It's not the original sketch. The sketch I made up after it was done. And then that. This. Just in that, you can already see how bad the painting is. Like, it's just not the right proportions at all.
Thought process, I wanted to use bold colors to show Cassie's bold personality. Literally the only thing I had for thought process. I had absolutely nothing else. In the ways that the actual portrait fails to resemble her, the use of color and the stippling method used to apply it helped make the piece feel more like her.
So then I took a different picture I have of her, which is one of my favorites, from TGI Fridays, and then I painted it just really fast, just did the grid and, you know, as you can see, and then I used the colors that I used in the actual piece. And instead of having likes and dislikes like I have had previously, I just had dislikes for this one.
Although I've learned to love the use of color, the proportions are my least favorite thing about this piece. Her face shape and my attempt to fix it using shadow, both were not successes. Usually eyes are my strong point, but I don't like the eyes of this piece. But the teeth were a rough point with me, and I actually love the way they look.
Well, I mean, I don't love the way they look now. I, you know, took pictures of pop art and then German expressionism down there, and I said style analysis.
I originally hated this piece. I've mentioned that so many times, wow. I still don't think the proportions are up to my usual standard, but my art teacher said that the color style was reminiscent of German expressionism. Originally I was aiming for pop art with the colors, but I think both work.
That was probably the least informative thing I could have said. This is the original sketch for this one, which also looks god-awful and terrifying. I didn't even bother trying to put this in. I literally drew it and I was like, this is no way I'm sending a picture of this in. And then this is the back. I made a little collage of all these pictures of my friends for like inspiration. I don't know, I was kind of like bored because like I did so many projects in the first semester that I was trying to stall for time and then just do whatever I wanted. It's hard to see. It's my friend Reagan. These are us dressed as the Heathers when we went to Morp as the Heathers. Reagan was supposed to have a painting and then I just absolutely did not do that. I also did this upside down in my sketchbook, so that's confusing and awful. This is the first page, what it looks like. The like watercolor on this one is actually like kind of good. Like I don't like the way it looks in the actual piece, but like on this it's fine. And I said for process.
As usual, I started with a grid on the reference picture, 5x7, and a grid on the paper used for this piece. And the paper there is 11x15, so there's an extra inch on both sides. And then drew the image. I painted the piece using watercolor, then sewed the white string around the central portrait. I followed it with a golden string. I then used colored pencil to draw on the hair detailing.
The hair for this piece literally like gave me so much grief. Like, why am I using the tiny picture? Like, it looks okay, but Desiree is out here with beautiful curls, and it was just such a stress.
I said once again, Desiree is a friend I've had for many years, so I brought the composition closer to the viewer to show that. To keep the warm colors of the piece from bleeding into the warm colors of the background, I sewed the 2 lines of string around the central portrait, which adds a needed contrast.
Also something I made up later because I just do what I want and then justify after.
Analysis. This was a challenging piece for me, not only because of the hair, but because of the fact that her head is tilted slightly sideways, which threw me off proportion-wise. Yeah, it really did. It looks bad. It looks a little weird still, but this is my first time attempting something like that, so I'm still proud of the result, nothing less.
Yeah, this was my first time ever drawing someone with their head tilted like that, and then I had to do it again for Brandon. Yeah, Brandon's head was also tilted this way, and I was like, bruh. And that's why his face also looks stupid.
The smile that Desiree had in the picture already goes a long way to describing her personality. She's very smiley with a killer sense of humor. Wow, that was so nice. The sunshiny personality influenced my decision to use yellow and orange in the background and faded out with the sunset.
And then I have pictures of her to show her personality because she's such a fun person.
Likes. I like the way the hair turned out. Funny. I actually do not. That was a lie. It was a very stressful process for me. Yeah, I cried. I cried about it. But going into it, I knew that her hair would be the hardest part of the piece. After a couple of failed attempts with watercolor, I used colored pencils to detail the value and textures of Desiree's curls. Dislikes. The eyes of this piece are very unsettling. Oh my god, yeah. Eyes are what I'm best at, but after trying to perfect a squinted eye look and failing, I ended up with them almost fully open, which is just terrifying with a smile. I kind of get away with it because of the raised eyebrows, though.
I didn't go over 10 or 3, so that just proves that I was not ready. Like, if they said right now, like, oh no, we're changing back to 15 and 5, I would die. I don't know what my grade is yet. I'm supposed to find out in June. I mean, I totally could wait to post this until then so that it's actually, like, a helpful video. But, I mean, I guess you guys can wait with me. Say in the comments what you think my grade will be on my AP portfolio. If I don't pass this class after crying over it, pretty soon I should have the Hedwig video. I want to be a commentary channel. I don't want to be a Riverdale commentary channel, but I will be doing more Riverdale just in order to get my engagement back up, because after taking like almost a year-long break, I'm sure it'll be bad. So yeah, anyway, bye. I don't remember what my outro was or if I had an outro. Subscribe!